Yes, happy Thursday to everybody. So this is a video that I'm surprised that I haven't done a long time ago. It's a video that will probably get one of two reactions. The first being, yay, I totally agree with you. These products are complete crap. Or I completely disagree with you. I think that they are amazing for the price, and I would never purchase another type of brush again. So the products that I'm talking about are the Sigma brushes. About 2.5, oh my gosh, I think it must have actually been like 3 years ago now, I purchased 2 complete sets of the Sigma brushes. I purchased one for my professional kit, and I purchased one for myself to be able to use. And the kits are somewhat different now, but what I got resembled what they now consider the premium kit. So I have it pulled up on the website. It's $189. I believe I probably paid somewhere around that for the sets that I bought as well. So this is what that set looks like. So you can see it comes with quite a few brushes. I also purchased the Sigmax brushes. So at the time they were not called Sigmax. They were called just the angle top kabuki, the flat top synthetic kabuki, and the round top kabuki. So I purchased these right around the same time as I bought the 2 premium kits. These I just wanted for myself to be able to use. I did not buy another set for my kit. And I originally decided to purchase these brushes because my MAC brushes, which I had up until that point had them for like 14 or 15 years. I started collecting MAC brushes when I was in high school. When I first started really getting into makeup, every penny that I saved from babysitting or whatever other odd jobs I would do, I would immediately put towards either purchasing makeup or purchasing MAC brushes. So I had quite a big collection. But truthfully, in my earlier days, I didn't take as good a care of the brushes as I should have. And after about 10 years, they really kind of started to show their wear, and it was kind of getting time to replace a lot of them. And so my thought was that, you know, everybody was saying such great things about Sigma, and Sigma was sending out, you know, brush kits to all of these like top beauty gurus at the time, and they were just raving about how amazing these brushes were and how inexpensive they were and how they were better than MAC and at a better price point than MAC. And so I totally got suckered into that, and so I ordered the 2 kits that I did, and then also this 3rd kit for the synthetic brushes as well. And I got the brushes, and I remember, I think I actually did a video about this. When I got the brushes, on a few of them, the ferrule had come undone from the handle, and I contacted the company, and they said that, I believe I ordered sometime during the winter. They said that because of the winter weather conditions in Minnesota at the time, that the cold had caused the glue to like freeze and caused the ferrule to come undone. And so they went ahead and replaced, I think it was like 2 or 3 brushes that that happened to. So they sent me replacements, and I sent them the broken brushes back. So, I mean, I wasn't going to do anything with them, so I sent them back to the company. So I started using the brushes. I, of course, washed them right away. And the first thing that I really noticed is that they bled a lot, especially, you know, like this paddle brush. This is the large powder, the F20. I don't even know if it's called F20 anymore. And yeah, it's still called the F20. There was just a lot of bleeding. I mean, the water was like black. So any of like the brushes that had the similar hairs, you know, like this is the tapered highlighter brush, this is the blush brush, they all just bled like crazy. And I was like, well, you know, some of that is normal. Like, this isn't my first go around with purchasing a new brush. So I just kind of chalked it off as like the first couple of washes that may happen. Well, it just continued to happen. And even though I use brush guards, so I use these all the time. I have ever since they came out. Like, the brushes were just getting worse with like each washing. And I am one of those people where I do wash my brushes fairly frequently. I try to do it on a weekly basis, but sometimes that's not realistic. So I'll do like some spot cleaning, and then, you know, at least once or twice a month I will do a deep cleaning. And I think most people do that. And so to me, like, a brush should make it through that kind of process, because brush companies should know people have to clean their brushes. Like, you can't just keep using this thing time and time again and not ever put it under running water and add some soap to it. Like, that's not hygienic. So, anyway, continue to use them. And, you know, notice that with like my blending brush, that even though I was using the brush guard and I was using some pretty small, sorry, I'm trying to find like my smaller ones. I was using, you know, this size. They were like splaying out, and like it was really hard to get them to like go back to their original shape. Now with my MAC brushes, I would literally just like, I would have a rolled up towel and I would sort of lay the brush like this so that it was at a slight angle so that the water never went up into the ferrule. And I did that with the Sigma brushes as well. They never did that, even though a lot of times I didn't use brush guards because the brush guards weren't really as readily available in the past. But yeah, they weren't keeping their shape at all. And I've never had that problem before, and it was getting really frustrating. Some of the brushes, after I washed them, like this one here, just like, it got so rough. Like, it felt fine when I first received it, and then it just started feeling really like rough and scratchy. And I honestly haven't used this small tapered blending brush at all like in the last 2 years, because it just doesn't feel good to use it on my eye area. It feels like the bristles are just very bluntly cut. And like I said, at first, like, it was okay. It wasn't like the softest brush I'd ever used, but it felt okay. But the more I washed it, the scratchier it got. And again, I didn't do anything different from like any of the other brushes that I washed. You know, like at the time I had a lot of like Eco Tools brushes that I was using, and never had any issues with any of those like getting scratchy or uncomfortable. So then about, I would say 6 to 8 months after using a lot of the brushes in the premium kit, they started to just fall apart. My large tapered blending brush, the one that's kind of egg-shaped, the bigger size from this guy, it just fell apart. Like, the ferrule just came right off. There was another brush that happened to. I want to say it was, it was the synthetic one, the Duo Fiber powder blush brush, the F15, for my professional kit. That one, the ferrule came off. And from time to time, like, I would just kind of like glue it back on there, but then it like popped loose. So like, I just wasn't using a strong enough, I think I was just using like super glue or something like that. But it still wasn't staying on there. And I promise you, like, I've been doing makeup for a long time on myself, a long time on other people. I've washed my brushes a ton. I know how to wash my brushes. I know to never get water down the ferrule here. I never did that. I was very conscious of that. You know, I dried them at an angle so that the water was not in any kind of way seeping up through the ferrule in this direction here. The brushes were just falling apart for like no reason, and they just kept getting rougher and rougher. Like this one here, like, I barely ever use this guy anymore because it just feels like, you know what it kind of feels like is like the ends of your hair when you get a lot of split ends and it just starts to feel kind of coarse and like scraggly. Like, that's what this feels like. And I almost feel like this brush, like, just from washing it, started getting split ends. I've never heard people say that about their makeup brushes, but that's kind of like what I equate that feeling to. It just doesn't feel good. And these guys here keep bleeding. Like I said, it's been 2.5 years since I've bought these brushes, and they are still bleeding when I wash them. On this one here, you can even tell that the tips are black. So these white, like, Duo Fiber bristles here, they're supposed to be white. They were white when I got them, But because this part down here bleeds so much, it's constantly dyeing these white bristles black. And I don't know, it shouldn't be doing that, especially after the first couple of washes. Like, the dye is supposed to just kind of come out and then you move on. My blush brush, it is the worst. So a lot of times when I'm putting on blush, I'm not even really using this guy anymore. I just kind of kept it because I knew I was going to make a video. Like, I will get streaks of black on my cheek. And that is with the brush being completely dry, because I normally wash my brushes like midday, and then by the next morning they're dry. So it's dry, but like, it'll still leave a black streak. Like, they just bleed like crazy, and there is no reason for that. I can't tell you how many times like friends or a business partner has said to me, you have like a black line down your nose, and it's just because I was in a hurry, and you know, I use this like for highlighter, and there's like a black streak down my nose, more of like, you know, like a charcoal gray. So it's not like super obvious when you're just looking at a glance, but when someone's up close, they can tell that you have a streak of like charcoal down your face. This brush never keeps its shape. Again, I put it in a brush guard, doesn't keep its shape. It just splays out like crazy. These brushes, these hairs on the side here, like, are like breaking, and like, they just look scraggly, and there's no reason for them to look like this because I take such good care of my brushes. I will say that a lot of these like eye brushes that I have here, so this one is so stiff. This is the E20. It's like a smudger type of brush. The bristles are so stiff that like, I have trouble using it because it just feels so scratchy. The pencil brush is okay. The eye shading brush is okay. This flat definer is okay, but it's like, it's thicker than what I thought a flat definer brush should be, so it's hard to use for what I really want to use it for. This angled brush is okay. It's nothing special. It's not really as dense as I thought it would be, and so it doesn't really help with like a lot of the blending that I need it to, so I don't reach for it. This E25 blending brush it's okay, and I still use it a lot because I haven't replaced my Sigma brushes yet. I haven't really had the money to at this point, because I really literally like have to replace almost all of my Sigma brushes. Most of them are complete garbage. This is a large fluff brush. This is supposed to be an eye brush. It's so like dense and like scratchy that it doesn't feel good using it on my eye. What I wanted to use it for was to just put down like my brulee, you know, just as like a base to help with blending purposes. It's too scratchy to use it for that, so I actually use this for contouring the sides of my nose, and it works okay for that, which is the only reason that I continue to use it at all. But it just is like, it's rough. I never really had that problem with any of my MAC brushes. You know, these synthetic brushes here, I've had a little bit better luck with these. You know, they're very, very dense. These two are obviously dirty, but I haven't had a lot of loss of like bristles or like shedding. By the way, these shed like crazy when I wash them. The bristles almost like break off. It's like they've become more brittle over time, and like there's just, they come out like in clumps. They come out in like broken bristle pieces, so shedding is another major issue. These do not shed. The ferrules haven't come loose yet, so I've had a little bit better luck with these. I think I paid like $35 for this trio. They don't even have this on the website anymore. They just have the Sigmax Kabuki kit, which is this guy right here, so they added 2 brushes to it. So at the time that I purchased these, they didn't have those other 2 Kabukis in there, so this is what I got. So these are okay. just overall, I'm just so like disappointed with the quality of like the other brushes that I bought that I can't even talk that highly about these, even though they've been okay. There are better brush companies out there, you guys. I really, if you're thinking about investing in these Sigma brushes, like, I don't think that the gurus who are like touting these brushes are necessarily like lying about the brushes. I just think that maybe they are sent a higher quality brush so that they talk highly about them. I don't think that the same brushes that I got here in my kit, in my premium kit, are the same ones that those gurus are like talking so highly about. They can't be, because these brushes are complete crap. And like, I would hate to think that somebody, just for the sake of like getting something free, would say good things about it. So I refuse to think the worst of those people. I just think that they are probably sent a different, higher quality brush. If Sigma is doing that, then that is absolutely awful, because I was so disappointed in these, and these were not the highly touted, highly regarded brushes that all of these other gurus were talking about when I made my purchase. Now, like I said, it's been about 2.5 years since I've gotten these brushes, and so they could have absolutely changed manufacturers or you know, improved the quality of their brushes over time, but I would never take that risk again. I spent so much money on these brushes, and I'm totally stuck with them. It's not like I can send them back. Several of the brushes I've had to throw away because the ferrules just would not stay glued down onto the handles. And that's not something that should be happening, you know, 6 to 8 months after purchasing a product that was pretty expensive. I mean, it was $189. Now, granted, it's not like a fortune, but I spent a fair amount of money, and I got a product that didn't even really last me for a full year after purchasing it. Like, my MAC brushes, like I said, I had them for like 14 years, and they were great, despite the fact that in my earlier years, I didn't take care of them as well as I could have to make them last longer than they actually did. Now, I have slowly been trying to replace and add in other brushes. I've really fallen in love with the Real Techniques brushes. I think these are absolutely fantastic. If you are on a little bit of a budget when it comes to your beauty products and you're looking for inexpensive drugstore options, I would really highly recommend the Real Techniques. There's not a lot of other like drugstore brands that I would really recommend except for Sonia Kachuk. I know that she makes some really great brushes. I just have one of like, I don't even know what this is called. It doesn't have the name on it, but it's just an angled type of blush brush or contour brush. Those are fantastic brushes. I just think that the Eco Tools, sorry, totally forgot about the Eco Tools. Eco Tools makes some great brushes. I just really think that these are absolutely not worth the money, and these are by far the biggest crap product that I've ever invested in. Like, crap. They are a huge beauty regret for me, and if I could go back in time, I would have never spent the money on these brushes. I wish that Sigma had like, you know, a 5 or a 10-year guarantee on their brushes, because there's no reason to not have that. If somebody takes care of their brushes, they should last a minimum of 5 years before you have to start thinking about replacing them. You know, if somebody doesn't take care of their brushes, I can completely understand them like falling apart or getting gross or disgusting. But when someone like me takes good care of their brushes and the brushes don't last, I just don't think that that's a good product when that happens. So I really got to say that the Sigma brushes were a huge regret for me. I don't recommend them. Like I said, I think that the gurus who are getting sent these products are maybe getting sent a higher quality type of brush. They are certainly not getting sent these guys, because I don't think that they would talk about them as highly as they do. So again, I choose not to believe the worst when it comes to other people. I think that they are just sent a different product. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. Obviously, You may have a completely different experience with your Sigma products. If you love them, I'm so happy for you. I wish that I loved them, but for me, they really were the biggest crap investment that I ever made in my beauty collection here, and I wish that I would have done a little bit more research before placing the orders, because now I am like several $100s into these brushes, and at this point I can't really afford to replace all of the ones in my kit and all of the ones that I have in my own personal collection. And actually, in my professional kit, I did order some extras because I needed more of like these shader brushes. I needed more like detail brushes for the eyes. So I think I purchased actually a couple different sets of like the smaller like eye brushes and stuff, just to be able to have more on hand for the day of. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I would love to hear, obviously, you know, what your experiences were. If they were great, like I said, that's awesome. I'm super happy for you. If they sucked like they did for me, I'm sorry. Just as sorry as I am for myself. It's a total bummer. So anyway, leave me your thoughts down below. I'm going to ask that you at least be respectful. You know, like everybody, this is just my opinion. Like I said, your opinion may differ. So if you leave like a totally rude comment, I'll probably just block and delete you. But, you know, like if you genuinely do like them and you've had good experiences, like it's nice to hear about those as well. And maybe it's because you purchased the brushes much more recently. And like I said, hopefully they changed manufacturers and the quality has improved. So anyway, leave me your thoughts down below and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.